Hi, everybody.
Welcome back to the Justice and Faith Show. We have some special guests with us today. They are our dear friends.
Nope, you're jumping into it too fast.
What?
Because we didn't let the listeners and the viewers understand what we are doing and why we're doing it. So we've talked in previous. I don't like how you're looking at me.
Okay.
It's making me nervous and stuttering. We talked in previous episodes about the fact that we wanted to bring in other couples in long-term relationships or marriages that have kind of some similar experiences, specifically if they've been married a second time, hell, even a third, because a lot of these stories are really interesting. So we have a couple that's very near and dear to us that was willing to share their stories from an individual and a relationship perspective. So they are the first couple we're going to be interviewing amongst many moving forward. So yes. now you
all right. So these are our dear friends. Their names are Ryan and Aly, and we're gonna let them kind of just give a little short blurb about who they are, where they're coming from, so you can kind of get to know them a little bit. So who wants to go first? Was it Ryan?
Yeah, so I'm Ryan. I am 29. I'll be 30 this year. Grew up, was born in Oklahoma, grew up for most of my life in Strasburg with my mom and her kind of sort of significant other. So didn't see a whole lot of great relationship type stuff growing up. Most of my stuff came from television and family friends. So.
Okay, that's interesting.
Gandalf. We were talking about
Well, no, actually, that's very interesting because I actually don't really know Ryan that well. So this is going to be very interesting.
I always forget he's from Oklahoma because he didn't work on a farm. And I feel like people from Oklahoma should work from a farm or be Superman. I feel like one of those things needs to happen.
All right. And your turn, Aly.
All right. Hi, I'm Aly. Oh, sorry. That's my tummy.
It's okay. You can edit
I'm sorry. I'm so nervous, guys.
It's our show. We can do what we want.
I actually grew up here in Lancaster. I've been here my entire life. I grew up with my mom and dad. Didn't really see too much of a positive relationship growing up because my parents always fought. So I saw the kind of like the bad side of relationships growing up. And then as I got older, their relationship got better and all that. And yeah, that's it. I'm sorry.
That's very interesting. Yeah. A lot of times people see a relationship like in Ryan's situation, you don't really get to see and you don't know where to go from. You kind of know what you want per se, but you don't know how to navigate it. And Aly, you're just like, maybe I don't want this because I don't want to fight. Right. So a lot of times people don't know how to be in a relationship and be able to grow and connect as you two have learned to do it for each other.
So like who were, for each of you, just one person that you feel like influenced you the most in your childhood and like early teens? Like who was like someone that you were like, you went to for like advice or like something like that? Did you have anybody like that or not really?
The faces that you guys have on right now should be memes. Like Aly's face is a meme right now.
I personally didn't have anybody. The closest person that I had to talk to about relationships and stuff was my neighbor Tony Ann. She was like a mom to me. She still is.
Shout around.
What?
Give her a shout out.
Yeah, I love you, Tony Ann.
All right, cool. And how about you? Anybody you can think of, Aly?
I didn't really have anybody that I would give advice. I was more of the loner, do it for myself kind of person.
Okay. All right. That's fair. I was just curious. All right.
Respect that. I know that.
All right. So we are going to talk about a little bit now about more of like the relationships. So when you guys started getting into like serious relationships before each other, how old were you when you were in your first serious relationship?
Ooh, that's a good question. Good job. I love Ryan's thinking, man.
I know.
That should be like a painting.
So my first serious relationship would have been My first one, like outside of high school, would have been when I met Lindsay, my ex, and she pretty much set up the path for me to do everything that I wanted to do. I could get out of home. I didn't have to rely on my mom. Like she helped me a lot in different ways that I needed at the time. I didn't have anybody that helped me get my license. I didn't have anybody that helped me, figure out college and school and stuff like that. And she gave me a lot of avenues for that. And it was that kind of initiated like what I wanted from her and needed from her, and kind of how we grew our relationship from there.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. And that's your ex-wife or just another
My
ex?
ex-wife, yes.
Okay. All
It's
right.
the ex.
So that's like your first serious relationship outside of high school, is what you said, right?
Yeah.
Can
Yep.
you clarify that though? Like you said, outside of high school. Like, can you
So-
clarify what that means?
So did you have serious relationships in school or?
There was one girl that I used to bowl with who we were extremely close. It didn't end too well, but like our families got close and all that, and it went on for I think like a year and a half. And that was Heather.
Was that early in your high school career or later? Like
That would be
junior
later,
year?
probably. I think that was like around junior year.
So around what age did you meet Lindsay?
I met her, I believe, when I was 18 or 19.
Oh wow.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Cool. And then how about you, Aly? When was your first serious relationship? How old were you and what did it teach you about life?
Well, so I was either 15 or 16. It was my sophomore year in high school. I actually dated a guy. I do not want to use his name, so I'm going to go by his initials, which are, I'll just say DJ. We'll just go with that. And I actually had a crush on him since the 3rd grade, and I didn't have the courage to tell him until high school. And
Okay.
then, so I told him how I felt, and then he later thought about it for a couple days and then had actually asked me out. We were together for all of our high school life, well, the rest of the high school life, so sophomore, junior, and senior. We broke up. He actually dumped me before our I want to say officially our 3rd anniversary, like a 3rd year anniversary. And because I went to college for photography. So his excuse was I went there to meet guys. And so I was there to cheat on him and not further my career as a photographer. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And then we lost touch and all that. And then I graduated. And then we actually got back together once I graduated.
Wow.
So we dated again for another year. And then he actually proposed to me. And then later that year, it was September or October, he actually cheated on me and was afraid to tell me, broke off the engagement. And here I am.
Wow.
So he just taught me that second chances aren't always worth it. That I just can't
No, you
once
look
you
at
do
me
me wrong, I can't for me at least with him, because he was just an awful person to me. Like everything that we fought about was always my fault. Everything, even if he was in the wrong, it was my fault.
Right.
Mm.
He'll,
Okay. He
say
was,
that
self-manipulative.
say he left the toilet seat up and he would come back and be like, oh, why'd you do that? He would blame me like it was my fault. So my instinct is to just shut down for
You know
all of
about
the
that,
reasons
right?
and
Yeah,
everything.
no,
So
that's, I know about that.
I
Yeah.
met him. I finally was able to actually I still shut down every now and again, but he's actually taught me how to open up and tell him how I'm feeling. So if I am upset, he's like, I want you to tell me if you're upset. I don't want you to shut down because I don't want you to just fester with that anger. I want you to tell me so what I did wrong so I don't do it again.
Right, definitely.
Mhm.
But
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. No, I know about that for sure. The shutting down thing. That was my go-to move for a while. Just I don't like confrontation, so I was just
I don't
It's
do
really
well.
easy to do.
And that's what I saw
Yeah.
at home with my parents. Whenever they would fight, they both would just completely shut down, and then after a couple days they would talk again.
Okay.
So to me that was normal.
Normal, yes.
Right. Okay. Very interesting. You have any follow-ups on that before we go to the
No,
next?
I just find it very interesting because, you know, passively I've heard you guys' stories before, but it's one of those things where it's like, you know, everybody knows our story now because we put it on camera and we explained it, but we didn't get into every intricacy. And sometimes it's hard to kind of go back and rehash it because you start kind of feeling and seeing certain things as it happens, but then it also helps you kind of navigate to why you are where you are now, where like me and Ryan, we had a lot of similarities with like how we grew up, where we didn't have a lot of guidance and example. And like Ryan said something about, you know, Lindsay kind of opening up new doors for him. For me, it was more so my attention and my love was to whoever I was with because I never had it really come from anywhere else. So if I was dating, if I was with somebody, they got the full brunt of my attention, good or bad, because no one told me, you know, about patience and you know, it's okay to shut down. Like I've had to learn this with her. Like it's okay for her to not so much shut down, but it's okay for her to have a moment to kind of figure things out, instead of me just going like, are you okay now, and just trying to kind of push her because I want the answers. I want to know what I can do to help her, and she might not know how to express that at that time. So one of the things that that I've just learned over time is just to allow her to be her. And then like as Ryan said, you still want to encourage and say you want to create a safe space. And that's not something I can say that I necessarily always did, and I can admit that it wasn't intentional, but you know, it's very difficult when somebody's over top of you and you don't necessarily know how you feel and you just shut down because that is your default mechanism. It's what you've seen your whole life, whether it's relationships or whether it's just any point in life, you just shut down, and it's very hard to get out of that funk. So you need the right person in your life to be able to kind of continue to help nurture you out of it. And then you still have your moments where it happens. So it's very important that you said that, Aly, because it really never goes away. You have to be with somebody that really understands that and that just loves and provides that safe space no matter what.
Yeah, definitely. So now we're going to get into a little bit more.
Did Ryan give his spiel?
You did.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, I was first.
He was first.
Because remember, you quoted me about opening doors.
Well, no, it blended different. Like, so it was from the previous question. It wasn't from the same question that Aly got about like your life before Aly. So when you were actually married, like that, like so you talked about Lindsay, in kind of a passive sense. You didn't talk about your marriage. So like before Aly, before Aly, you were with Lindsay, you were married. So, you know, whatever you're willing to divulge about that particular situation, that's what we're trying to get to. Because you said like she opened
that was like the next
she opened up doors. You guys met pretty young. And that's I know about, like, I know how it feels when you meet somebody in there. I have a similar situation where I met somebody and they taught me about bank accounts and they taught me about getting an apartment and things I never heard or saw before. And I kind of got enamored by that because I didn't know any of these things. I didn't know how to navigate these things, and I wanted to, but having someone kind of take my hand and show me, it was intoxicating, and it also was like you kind of feel, I don't want to say an obligation, but you feel like they know more than you. So sometimes you don't know because you're still growing, and you don't really know the things that they know at that time. So I just want to get a little bit more of your vantage point of how you navigated that relationship into marriage, as much as you're willing to divulge.
Yeah. So really it worked out that I had come into some money, and I felt like I was where I wanted to be, needed to be, and was supposed to be. Like it all felt right. So I proposed. She said yes. We got married. We got a house. We did all the normal, things. And just slowly over time, because of all that she was able to do for me in the beginning, I guess there was a part of me that always felt like I owed her. And so I would give a lot more leniency than would be normal or, reasonable.
Acceptable. Yeah.
Yeah. And it really just deteriorated everything away over time, just from her being out till all hours of the night, which I was fine with, because I knew that we worked opposite schedules. So I had a regular 9 to 5. She worked in restaurants, so she was up already until 11, 12 o'clock, and then they'd go, like, the servers and stuff would go to bars afterwards, which I was totally fine with. I was like, okay, just be home by like 3, and if you're going to be, if, you can't drive or whatever, call me, just let me know where you're at, like whatever. Wasn't a big deal. And then there was just tons of nights where she never showed up at all. And then I was the crazy one, because when I woke up in the morning, I had no idea where she was, and tried to find out where she was. I was the crazy one.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds a little manipulative.
It sounds like me. You want to know no, seriously, because that's been me times. Because I never thought I had to answer to anybody. So I just kind of live my life. I show up when I want to, I do what I want. And that was it. And I never quite understood how disrespectful it was, because one of the things I realized is the presence that I brought to people's lives. So you do kind of have this air in a sense, like, why do I have to answer or tell you, even though it's a respect thing? You're like, we're married, and it's just like, it's a safety thing. Like I would, if Faith is out, like if she's out, like, you guys hang out, y'all have girls night, I have no problem. But I'm just like, I just want to make sure everybody's safe and everything's on the up and up. I don't really care about necessarily what you're doing, because I know you girls are going to do what you do. And what that is, hey, I don't know. Because me and Ryan will be together, we're going to do what we want to do.
Margaritas.
But it really is just, it's really just about respect and being. I remember we've had conversations to a level about that, and it's crazy that because I was like, I was kind of like her in a lot of ways, and it made me kind of sit down and go, why don't you, wasn't this manifest with you? Because that's just who I've always been. So the expectation with her, like, she might say, this is just how justice is, and I just know it. But she has passively let me do certain things. And it's not because she thinks I'm doing anything wrong, but she's like, this is who you are. So I've had to come to a point where I have to take accountability and just keep my behind in the house. Because even though this is what I've historically done, it hasn't always been historically good for me.
Yeah.
And that seems like, somewhere where there was a disconnect between you and her, because she just was kind of like, this is my life, and you just have to accept it. And you did, until it was just like, you no longer are showing adequate respect for me as your husband.
Yeah. So now we're going to get into more of a happy subject. How did you guys meet?
Go ahead.
Well, I was working at PetSmart, and Ryan had actually come in with Roxy and Zoe, and it was during training classes, right? Mm-hmm. So, and it was Wednesday nights, and he was the first person that like I actually like really connected with after DJ like really like tore me apart. Like so he had actually asked my coworker what my name was, and he found me on Facebook.
I did. I was super creepy.
He was very creepy. Because I was like, who is that? And then I saw his pictures, like, I know that dog.
I know the dog. That's why you like so much.
So then like we kind of talked off and on, like I really, because I was still hurt, I didn't really show too much of an interest. But he's like, oh hey, I don't always get notifications from Messenger, so can I have your number instead? He still has every single text message that we ever sent to each other.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
before we started officially dating.
Oh wow, that's neat. Very cool.
So, and then he actually invited me to his Halloween party.
And she didn't come.
Oh.
I said I'm going home to go sleep.
Yeah, so she didn't come. She missed the candy fight of candy fights. I mean, we were finding candy bars 6 months after Halloween, okay? Came in the next day with Bree, and I made Bree tell her, like, hey, you missed a really fun party last night.
But what was weird for me was, I was like, yeah, I've never seen you come in with this girl before. Who is she?
Ah. Wait,
So-
so you were paying attention to who he was coming and going with. Woo!
Yep.
And then what did you say to Nate, Ryan? What'd
So,
you say?
so
The
the first time that I saw her, we like flirted a little bit, and then Nate was with me at the pet store. We were walking out with Roxy and Zoe, and I looked back at Nate and I was like, she totally wants the D.
And the D stood for dog. You just didn't understand.
Exactly.
Then we kept talking. Eventually she agreed to go on a date.
He said, I'm not taking no for an answer.
That's true. I did. And we went and saw a weird movie.
Hang on. First, he was like, oh, let's go see The Best of Me, Nicholas Sparks. I don't want him to see me cry.
That's
like,
fair. That's fair.
like, you're not going to go see me cry.
Something going on. Spark.
And then,
I know
so
about
he's like,
Nicholas Spark.
what movie do you want to go see? And I was like, ooh, that Nightcrawler movie looks good with Jake Gyllenhaal. It ended up being the worst movie we've ever seen.
Oh, I can't. We got to have an outside conversation. I love that movie.
Oh,
We thought it
course
was
you do.
terrible. We did not enjoy it.
So then I can tell you my favorite story. So
Hang on. Should I give you the signal now?
Oh God, after our first date, so we're sitting in the car outside of her parents' house, and we were
far
just
down the street because there was no parking.
It doesn't matter. So we're just talking and whatever, and I thought that it went well for the night. We got some food, we went to the movie, blah blah blah. We're parked there, and she's plastered against the side of the car as far away as humanly possible.
Mhm.
Come to find out a few weeks later, that was the signal.
That's the signal.
That was the signal that I was supposed to kiss her that night.
Holy.
Who knew?
From the person you want to kiss.
So he already said he started off on a creepy note. Now you want him to lunge across the car, pick you up against the thing, potentially miss. Good grief.
So, but then we basically hung out almost every day since. This is one of the dogs. This is Zoe.
Was
She's
Zoe
the
there in the
reason.
beginning and I called her Athena?
No. Athena was over here earlier.
Yeah, Athena was with us.
All the
So
black dudes the same.
so we basically never stopped hanging out every day. Like we saw each other every day after that for literally months. She'd come over to the house. Come on, Zoe, you gotta go. She'd come over to the house. We'd watch movies, hang out, and it just kind of grew from there.
My phone
Did
case
she,
at
did
the
she stay
time was
planted to the side of the couch?
no.
Did you learn the signal? How long did it take you to learn the signal?
The second time we hung out.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Now, how did you find it out?
I just went for it.
Okay.
Did you miss?
No.
I missed before.
Silly.
You can't recover now.
Go lay down, baby.
Okay. What was it exactly about so Aly answer, what was it about Ryan? Ryan answer, what was it about Aly? That initially, like, what was that thing that you were like, or did you have a day where you were kind of like, I'm gonna marry this person? Like, was there a specific thing that drew you to them and you're like, I'm gonna marry this person? Or was there a day or an event or something that you can be like,
Wait, I forget mine.
oh,
Go ahead.
I remember yours.
Okay, go ahead. Tell both of them. Zoe, you need to go.
Yeah,
Come
Zoe,
on.
come on.
Who wants to tell her story about how y'all met?
yes.
So, I'm not like most girls. I find things funny that other girls don't, like poop and farts and all that.
Oh no.
Okay, so you get it, Faith, right?
No.
I
She's
mean-
not like that. But she definitely laughs and jokes at the most inopportune times.
Okay.
Definitely that.
So I find poop and farts and stuff really, really funny because I'm
Okay.
not your typical girl. And so Ryan, the one time, just let out this huge, obnoxious fart. Like, it was so loud. And I just started laughing, like, really hard. And he's like, I'm going to marry this girl.
Wow.
He knew that I was
I
the one
need
for him.
context to the fart. Now, was this like a group fart or like a single you and just Aly fart?
Just me and Aly.
Yeah, just
You're
us.
a brave man.
I'm not going to change who I am.
He was embarrassed the first time that he farted in front of me, and I was like, that's funny. What are you talking about?
I'm farting private
Now he
unless it's in
doesn't
my
stop.
sleep. I can't help it.
And then, okay, so what's yours, Aly? That was his. What's yours?
Just his love of animals, and he just loves to make people laugh. And
Okay.
I enjoyed his company. And yeah, look at that face. You just can't.
He's adorable, but he's a punk.
Yeah,
I love
me
you.
too.
I love you, Ryan. I'm messing with you.
And then, okay, so the last question kind of that I was thinking about would be like, what do you feel like sets this marriage, your current marriage, apart from like your previous relationships? Like, what did you learn from previous relationships that you brought into it or didn't bring into it? Or what are some keys to your success?
Like, how have you worked through, like, Ryan, like, we met during, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be mistaken, yeah, I was part of your wedding, so I'm not mistaken. So when I met you, you were only engaged, I believe you were only engaged, Aly, at that time. I'm not sure if you were or not at that time when we first met.
No.
Okay. So I was there for a transitory time, but we had a lot of conversations, and there were things that, you know, you handled way better than I would have, especially at that particular point in time in your life. So working through these things and communicating with Aly, especially with everything that she's been through, you know, how did you navigate that, especially with what you've been through and your lack of being able to see guidance and stuff? How did you learn to be this guy, to be this person for her, this great husband for her?
Yeah. And vice versa for Aly.
So I feel like the biggest thing that I've done is not taking, like, if we're arguing or having a fight, there's kind of 2 points that I always try to get to, and it's not taking no for an answer, like, you know, like letting her shut down and not talk about things. You know, and then the other thing is getting to the point where we can laugh about it, because pretty much every fight we have, we end it laughing.
Yep.
It sounds, oh my God. Yeah, we had a huge fight over buying lemonade from a little girl's lemonade stand. Like
Almost
it
broke
was,
up because of it.
yeah, it was literally Armageddon of the relationship, and we
How
survived.
long ago was this?
Oh, this was years ago.
Yeah, we
This
were at
was-
the Strasbourg house.
Yeah, this might have been after the engagement.
I think so.
But it money
I had a call.
like a huge amount of change was thrown, a slushy was thrown
Over my head.
It blew up. And as we're picking up the change, we're just laughing our ass off because of the little girls.
No,
getting
no. When you threw the change, you said, nobody help her. She's going to pick it up herself. But then you started to help me because you're just like, well, I'm going to help you. It was like,
And the whole thing was just ridiculous. And then we realized, like, you know, we've acknowledged that. And
stupid.
like we haven't had any fights that it's been like we're angry for more than what, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like we just kind of get over it really easily, like because we can communicate through it and just express how we feel. And I think it helps that we're both pretty empathetic and can see how the other one is perceiving it. There's plenty of times where I've screwed up and I've been like, that was not how I expected you to take that. So that's totally my bad. You know, I won't do that again. And, you know, what can we do to make sure it doesn't come up again?
Right. All right.
As far as for me, it's basically just piggybacking off of what you said, but like I'm learning to actually like take a stand for myself and tell him how I'm feeling instead of just initially just like I'm angry at you and that's that, and not even giving him an explanation.
Oh, that's irritating.
Now I'm at the point where I can tell him like, hey, you left your socks out by the couch again. Can you pick them up and put them in the hamper? Like it's stuff like that just irritates me.
And every time I promise that I'll try to do better.
But he still does it.
You told me about that years ago, and I remember I'm like, what? Because you know how I am. Just the thought of I'm like, why would you not put your socks in the hamper? Like it didn't even make sense. She had to say something to you, and he was like, I know I should be doing it, but I literally would look at the hamper and just throw them down. I was like, what? He said, I know it, but I can't not. I said, so you deserve any crap she gives you for it. He's like, yeah, man, yeah.
True.
But yeah, just I'm thankful that I'm able to just communicate better instead of taking what I've saw growing up and what I learned from my ex and all of that. So yeah, I'm just glad that we can just be, I think, a better couple knowing that we can just communicate how we feel to each other.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
awesome.
how long have you guys been married now?
3 years?
17, 18, 19.
3 years, 3
4
months.
years?
Is it going to be 4?
17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, it'll be 4 years in July.
Okay, nice.
I was off 7 months, whatever. All right, so you guys kind of said it, but if there was one thing, or maybe even one word that you could tell Ryan, I want to get from your perspective from a man. If you were to tell a young man that's thinking about getting married or whatever, there was one thing that you would tell him that maybe he wouldn't be thinking of, like what advice or what kind of nugget would you give him?
I would say reciprocal trust.
Ooh.
So the fact that like I know like Aly can go do whatever with whoever, I don't have to worry. And like I go over to my best friend Tiff's house all the time. I'm there till 12, 1 o'clock. like it's not a thing. You know, there's trust and everything there, and just the fact that, you know, like we talk about everything. I feel like if you don't have that, if you have any doubts in it, it's something that you need to talk about and you need to be on the same page about. And if not, then it's, you know, I don't think it's going to work.
Okay.
What about something different, Aly? Do not piggyback this time.
I'd say for me, like, mainly it would be communication and all that, because that is very important, and expressing how you are feeling emotionally, because I was emotionally like abused and verbally abused in my previous relationship. So I wasn't good at the communicating or anything. So just being able to talk to each other about any fights, or just like any like untrust that there'll be that you might have in the relationship or anything, just communicate and don't be afraid to tell them how you're feeling, because they might not know how their actions are affecting the relationship. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does. Definitely does.
Okay.
Anything you wanted to say in regard to what they said?
No, not really. I liked hearing their story a little bit more in depth, because I actually haven't really heard it that much before. So that's pretty cool.
And we want you guys to know that you're probably going to help a few people. The reason why that we decided to do this, I think it worked out exactly how it needed to do with me and her, because of what we've been through and just on a day-to-day basis, what we have to focus on, because we are so different.
Yeah.
We are so different. And there's things I sit down like, I would never take this from anybody else. And I'm pretty sure she's like, I didn't even know this existed in a man. Like, I didn't even know that men cared, or whatever the case may be. But our whole goal is to make sure that we are, you know, our story is to inspire others, because just like you said, Aly, a lot of people aren't willing to talk about how they feel.
Right.
And that actually causes so many issues in a relationship, and it's no one's fault.
People try to hide, like, if they're like, they post all this stuff on social media now about how perfect their relationship is, when actually in reality their relationship probably is not that great. It sucks, like, or they're having issues, financial problems or marital problems, and like they're not telling anybody that, they're not talking about it. And these are problems that every married couple, or even anybody who has a serious relationship, these are problems that everybody is going to encounter. Some like communication problems, trust problems, like these are all things that are normal and need to be discussed, so that everybody kind of knows that there shouldn't be a stigma on talking about these problems.
Right.
Everybody's human. They're going to have issues in a relationship, because I was raised completely different than him. So it was like night and day trying to get to know him. Like, we definitely we're doing this for a very specific reason. We want to get the word out there to people that, like, relationship problems are real, but they don't have to be the end of your relationship if you know how to handle them. And it's like, we also want to just help people in other aspects. So we want to just start talking to a bunch of people from all walks of life. And
it's very serious for I want to say us, but for me, it's the difference between life and death. And maybe Ryan can kind of attest to that particular thing as well. For me, it's kind of saved me from everything, and just having expectations that were not met because they were my expectations, and not really vetting through what other people's experiences are, and being really candid and honest about how I feel, while also respecting where they come from. And that's something I've only been able to learn through her, because I care so much. Our relationship is so sick. And I'm saying this time, the first time I didn't take it as seriously. I just assumed certain things were going to fall in place. And I'm pretty sure you both did too in some areas. Like, you just had an assumption that this would work out this way and this would work out that way. You soon find out when you hear it takes work, a lot of people get put off, like, I don't want to work at it. But I can honestly say I'm happy. For like the first time in my life, I can say I'm happy now. It doesn't mean things are perfect. It just means that I'm okay with explaining and expressing how I feel in a way, even if I feel safer now because I got my defense pose when I say certain stuff. But
he literally talks to me like that sometimes.
Yeah, I have a defense pose because when I do that, she doesn't feel attacked. But I had to learn, like, my presence has intimidated so many people, and it's not intentional. Like Ryan said something earlier about I did not intend for that to happen. When we love our wives, we love the person. We don't ever intend for something bad, but dealing with emotional and verbal abuse and psychological abuse, it doesn't matter what our intent is. It matters what your perception of that thing is. And I had to learn, like, I'm not attacking you. Everything I say is out of love. And, you know, it took a while to really get to the point where I think she really understands that. And I had to change my approach, which wasn't the easiest thing for me to do because my temperament is kind of, you sink or you swim. You're apex predator or you're not. And Faith's not an apex predator. So I had to understand that I can't hold her to this thing in my head that's not fair to her. And the moment that I put her in proper perspective and put me in proper perspective, it allowed us to be able to grow and thrive and be able to talk to other people, because we don't want to talk about crap that we're not doing. We don't do podcasts and talk to nobody if we ain't right. I will literally say we're not doing nothing tonight because we just had an argument. And she's like, well, we got to put it out because we have to put this out by Sunday. I'm like, I don't care, because we can't get in front of the camera and speak lies. And because there are people who get something from us. There's people who get something from you, and they're inspired by the fact that they see everything's not perfect, but you guys genuinely love each other. That's why you guys are the first within this particular fraternity, because we all need each other. There's gonna be times, Aly and Faith, and I hope you guys do. I hope you have conversations about me and Ryan. That's some gum. He did this, and he made me so mad. I want to have a conversation with Ryan. He's like, I mean, I was trying to, but she said no. And so I played mad. I mean, I played, the PS5, for me, the PS2, because, I didn't upgrade nothing. But it's important. It's like what you said about sharing those laughs, because when you realize at the end of the day, we chose these women and they chose us. And we have to focus in on the correct things. And a lot of times I think people get their expectations and their hopes and dreams, and they manifest that on other people, which is not fair. So it's wonderful to see you guys' progression. I'm thankful I was there for you guys' wedding. I was there to be able to see you guys grow. I can actually visually see the growth in you guys. I can see the growth in Aly, which is incredible. I can see that, Ryan's pretty much the same to me. But with Aly, I see the confidence growing. I see the ability to come outside your comfort zone. And that's only going to make you a better woman. It's going to make Ryan a better man. And as he becomes a better man, then it's going to also continue to make you a better woman. So it's just great. It's a blessing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess that's all, right? Like, unless you guys have any parting words that you want to say before we go.
Be on agreement on finances.
That's a good one. I made that a point before I even proposed.
Yep. I had to have.
You have to agree on.
Wait, say that again.
You said you have to agree on finances?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you said? You have to agree on finances?
Yeah.
Like that was one of his terms. So like I had to have a full-time job, I had to have a car, and then we also had to be on agreement on finances. I think there was one more, but I don't think. I think it was just those three. But like he had specifics because he was burned before with his ex, because she just didn't really communicate with the finances and everything with him. Like he said, going out all hours of the night and just not coming home.
We just really weren't on the same page.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to make that mistake again.
So we went and we took a financial class. Dave Ramsey.
Yep.
Shout out to Dave Ramsey. Love him. And it just helped us grow better as a couple. Now we don't really budget like we should, but we're
getting better.
We're trying to get better. So just
progress.
Be on the same terms on finances and stuff like that. Like it's very.
You don't know how to shop like me yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Once you know how to shop like me, oh my gosh, you're going to understand. It's just like, oh my goodness.
All right. So I guess we'll let you guys go, and we will see you on Sunday.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Oh,
Looking forward to it.
Excited.
Lacey Evans, real quick. Lacey Evans responded to me when I sent her Instagram.
No, you didn't.
She
Or
said,
no.
"Thank you, Cootie Pie." I said, "Ah!"
Is
I'm waiting on Charlotte. I
responded?
commented on Charlotte. Yeah, you know I commented on Charlotte. She had the purple dress on. I'm waiting on that. When I get that, I can die. When I
So I'm excited because I think this is my first one, right?
What, Royal Rumble?
Yeah, I think this is my
Yeah.
first one.
It's gonna be hilarious.
Like,
You take it so serious.
I do. It's ridiculous. Like
She hates Roman Reigns.
with a passion. Like
That's my girl.
I love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
I love this version. The head of the table. Look at me. Look where I'm sitting. I'm the head of the table.
It's just the way that he speaks. It's just like he's just like calm, cool, and it's just like, yep, you just talk to me all day like that. Thank you.
I can't do it in my marriage though, because that'll cause issues, and we'll have to. I can't be the head of the table. I can sit at the table because she tossed it one day. She started talking to me like this, and I had said, "I can move. You can sit at the head of the table, my love." But it was great talking to you guys. So we're going to sign out. We will see you guys on Sunday. And so guys, just stay blessed. Keep doing what you're doing. We love you.
bye.
Love you. Bye.
You guys. So now we'll just sign off. We hope that you guys got something great from this episode, talking to Ryan and Aly, getting a different perspective on things than just ours. So
And if you feel comfortable talking about your current situation, maybe even a past situation, like everybody can find value from what other people's experiences are. Like I have experiences I haven't talked about, and I'm pretty sure somebody like, oh, and so it's Faith. Like she has very specific things that there might be people struggling with it. And they're like, how do you navigate it, that she might know? So always reach out to us. You can comment, or you can direct messages. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. I recently signed up for Twitter, so you can sign up, you can get that. Our phone, you direct message. I think my phone number might be on something. So hit me with a text and just let me know what you are, what the question or whatever you have is, so we can, do our best to be able to help you. Because we're blessed in a lot of ways, and we want to just continue to pass the blessings along.
yes, definitely. So until next time, I hope that you guys all just have a great day. Stay safe, hug your loved ones,
and
maintain your justice.
And keep your faith strong.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right.